live from the internet and recorded on December 20th, 2018. This is the Crystal Chronicles, your official, unofficial Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. This is episode 34. Have I mentioned it? If I did, then I just did again. My name is Pierre. I am joined by Mino and Mark. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Pierre. Good evening, Twitchers. Good evening, Dissidians. And Mino.
Good evening, everybody. If you were here before the stream, you know I'm a little amped up from sugar FM the morning, so I'm trying to tone it down. And I was just warned that apparently I was swearing like a sailor last week. I was so out of it, I guess I didn't even notice. So I need to consciously tone it down. I'm sure double self-medicating, as in drinking alcohol to counteract sugar.
That works.
Probably not. Does it really? No, you're messing with me.
There's sugar in alcohol, actually.
Listen,
so
we're not.
So we have a lot of sugar at my house because we were just at the North Pole, and that place is bonkers with the sugar. Like, I think my sons came home from the North Pole with 10 pounds of candy. I'm not joking. I'd go get the bag, like just tables and tables, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, candy usually makes me sick, but I was raised. Tell me I'm not crazy here, because I was talking to my friends about this today. I was raised that it's rude to not accept gifts, right? That's what I was taught growing up. So
I am a very rude person then, because I pretty much never accept food from anyone. It just I don't know. It just grows me out.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Well, I mean, I was taught that. So, you know, when someone offers you like a drink or a piece of candy or something, you should take it. And so when you work in an office of over 100 people, close to 200 people, and it's Christmas and everyone's walking around handing out candy and chocolate and cookies, I'm so messed up right now.
Well, as a clergy during the holidays, people don't always know, like, if they want to get you a gift, like it's a thing you might do, like get your postal worker or your teacher or something like that. So, the general gifts are like cookies and like crosses or nativity sets. I got like 400 nativity sets. Like, there's only so many nativity sets. I really like nativity sets, but like there's only so many. And occasionally I get like one that's like terribly gaudy, like blonde-haired Swedish Jesus. So I like that. That's cool. But I got a lot of crosses.
I got a self-censor tonight. Sorry, Pierre. Sorry, Mark. Sorry.
Well, I mean,
audience members.
I'm not going to say you drop the bomb very often. I'm just going to say, and that's the only thing I'm going to say, that for the first time in 94 shows, I had to go and mark it contains explicit language.
Oh, really? Oh my God. That's insanely embarrassing. But no, it's okay.
We're just messing with you. There we go. Fuck the fucking fuckers. I said it. All right, let's get this show on the road. But just one thing you guys were saying about gifts and all. My wife is a teacher, and for over 10 years something, she was a high school teacher. And during this period, the amount of chocolate and candies and stuff she would bring back was just insane. So.
Yeah, I know. And I feel bad if I just like throw it in the trash, which.
Well, you gotta wait until they're not looking, because otherwise it's presumed to be rude.
I do that sometimes. Like sometimes when there's like a birthday or a party in the office and they're handing out cake, and cake is just way too sweet for me. And sometimes I sneak it in the trash, but I mean, I feel terrible every time I do it.
It's like, hey, thank you.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Just trashing it right in front of them. Oh boy.
Adults in office politics. All right, let's move on to Dissidia.
What this podcast about? Right, Dissidia. So, first thing first, let's cover the news. There's actually a few things to talk about here. Let's see. On December, when was it? December, not too long ago, there were some Yuffie adjustments. Let's see, where was it? I think on the 17th. Yeah, my phone is being stupid right now.
All patches are Wednesdays or Sundays, so we can always track it back, right?
Yuffie needs some adjustments. Yeah, are you?
Okay, there we go.
She, yeah.
So the ability Snatch went from 3 uses to 4, and an increase of brave damage. Uh, one random buff will be copied from target, and duration of copied buff will be extended by 1 turn. And command ability, I don't need this. Transfer debuff extended by 1 turn, and 4 turns, and frame buff Pew Perfect will now be granted, which raises max brave attack and speed.
There's a lot of jokes in I can't even there's like so many inappropriate things just about all of that language.
Yeah. Like I don't know if they changed the name to I don't need this.
They did. It was originally something else.
No, I mean just to meme. Like just to meme. I think they did it just to meme because they changed one skill ability and not the other. And
Mino, God of Cloud on Twitch wants to know, where is the Yuffie review on Reddit?
Well, I'm semi-retired, so it's up to somebody else. I'm pretty selective now, and I barely do it. And
I was going to ask this: Did we ever get Yuffies? Oh, we did finally get Yuffies on Krile's banner.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why she got the adjustments to go along with.
I figured. I just didn't. I couldn't remember what banner she was on, and it was on a banner that I wasn't going to pull on. So great.
I mean, the bottom line is it makes her decent for a 50-50, but now we're in wave 3 of Awakening. I don't think anyone's using 50-50 characters anymore.
Yeah, when does Yuffie get her?
She's last.
Oh yeah, it's a long time for Yuffs.
She's
Sorry.
last. Her and Saz were last. You know, they're just overlooked, and it's
poor Yuffs.
All right. Then there was
got buffed.
Final Fantasy Portal campaign update. I think they added some new rewards.
Yes, they did.
Mistaken. Any of you guys logged into that application, or we're still leaving that to the community?
Oh my god, I haven't, and I feel terrible because they're right. Like, I think every day on Reddit there's a post saying, "Come on, guys, we all have to do our part," and I'm just.
I hate that app.
Me too. I tried it before last time, and I was like, "This is dumb. I can't do this."
I like the idea, not the execution. Yeah, we've already cleared the first and second. So if you are on the Portal app and you like to, you can play Triple Triad, right? You can tap the Get Points button. You can
play Final Fantasy 1, I think.
View topics, view videos, enable push notifications, view news. So if you like to do any of those things, that sounds fun. Go ahead, so we can get 15 armor tokens and 25 each of high shards. I think we got enough of all that kind of stuff.
Kreese on Twitch says that we've actually cleared the 3rd reward too, and we're close to all rewards. So
yeah.
Well,
this morning I saw a Reddit post saying we need under 100,000 points. I don't know if that's a lot, but
1.3 million to get all of the rewards as listed. So
and we have 1.2. So
see, this is my very cynical point of view, and it's very like a moocher style point of view, but I just refuse to believe Square Enix won't give us everything. Because you know how they have the stream rewards? Like, if we fulfill this challenge, we'll give you guys... We've never failed it, and in fact, Josh has gone out of his way to make sure we haven't failed. And it's the same for these and the Twitter polls. Like, I think they just want some community engagement, but I think they've always intended to give all of these out.
Give us the rewards.
All right. Winter campaign updates. Basically, they added some...
so pissed about this.
Some new eye shards. They added chocobo feathers. They added... I think that's about it.
I maxed out my higher power orbs like the day before it switched over. I was sitting on all kinds of tokens. I'm like, they're not going to add anything new. Of course they did. The next day. Like, it's fine, but I want those shards now.
Yeah, and we should have seen this coming because they do this every...
like a month. Of course we should have seen it coming.
I mean, they do this every seasonal... Like, we've had it summer and fall, but... Yeah, I also just spent all my crap. Oh, but speaking of which, this is we'll talk about it when we get to the co-op. But this is where we get our 200 high shards, 50 here, 50 the co-op shop, and then 100 for community rewards. So we didn't get shorted.
Very nice.
Because we were, for those of you wondering at home, we were talking pre-show, and Mino was mentioning something about us getting in the third wave less shards than Japanese player did. So, but we did not get shorted, so that's good to go.
Yeah, we'll touch on that when we get to the co-op, right? Because basically there's supposed to be a solo and we didn't get it, and I'm.
Game update that happened yesterday morning. Let's see. We'll skip the Awakening and get to that shortly. Basically, the number of buffs and debuff that can be applied on anything went from 5 to 6, which is, I guess at some point it can kind of change the strategy you have going on.
Yeah, I did notice that playing, because I obviously didn't read this update because all of these things are like surprises to me. But I did notice that, like, oh, I didn't know I had that many buffs. You could have that many buffs because you can. So now you can.
The maximum number of crystal shards and clusters that can be held have finally been increased to 9,999.
I think everyone was super happy about that. I think that was unexpected and people loved it.
So, yeah, because Japan just got that recently, right?
Yeah, yeah, they just got it with level 70 awakenings.
So thank you.
Thank you. Keep in mind that the number of high shards that can be held remains at 999. So use your shards if you're at that point, which nobody should be. They redid the link bell system, which means that the link bells now replenish by 1 every 2 hours. And let's see. Co-op guests may now use link bells in co-op quests to get more rewards. Just keep in mind that you do not get the score rewards if you're a guest using a link bell. You need to host the game.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way.
And it looks like
so did I.
So it looks like the bell rewards, at least as I've played, and I've only done about 2 days of co-op since it's switched over, because that's how many days we've had. But it looks like it's one of each of the artifacts.
I don't know.
If you host a, because I was using a double artifact item or a double item book thing, right? Whatever it is, bottle of wine. Support item is what I'm trying to say. And so every time that I hosted with a bell, I got 2 of each of the artifacts from the 6 awakening characters and the 2 EX weapon characters.
Okay.
So it's like in a separate thing. So like, you know, the regular rewards, then the bonus rewards, and then there's like a section with the bell rewards. And it was always consistent. 1 of each character and 1 artifact or 2 if you have the double going each.
Nice.
So that is nice, yeah.
It is.
Now
gave my Squall another max in Brave. That's nice.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that usually I just host ones for the gems, and then I just guest the rest of the time. So all my bells go. This lets you do something with them.
It's very nice.
Now they've added a new item or a new kind of item called Chocobo Down Feather, Tall Feather, which gives XP to your characters, and for I don't know if it's time limited, but they've also added these as rewards for completing 1, 3, or 5 daily quests, and you can also get Chocobo Down by completing cycle quests, and the ability to level up characters has been added to the enhancement page. Now, Mino, you said that you've already used that these kind of items a few times already.
Yes.
Well, let me see here.
I love it. It's a good quality of life. Everything we've gotten in the last 2 days, I think, took a character from 50 to 56, which is not bad.
So Ace, he's at level 50, and he's got his 50 awakening. I have 38 Chocobo Downs. And that does
Downs are the weakest ones, right?
That does not level him up to 51.
Yeah. But the tier 2s and 3s, yeah.
Yeah, 6 feathers would level him up. So,
yeah.
There you go. That's exciting.
Speaking of the enhancement page, they've combined the bind and enhance summon buttons together, which is
Wow, I did not notice that. Holy crap.
not a huge deal. I think they had something about against having 2 buttons on each section. So, oh, we're adding level up, gonna take one away. The
It was a
interface
really
was not.
stupid button.
It was, right, a not particularly useful button because you only ever bind a summon once.
Yeah. And they're running out of summons to bind now.
It's true.
Sorry about that. And let's see. I think that pretty much covers it. So definitely a lot of good quality of life changes that have been added to the game, and it kind of makes you wonder why all of these great things were not announced in a Square Enix stream recently.
Good question.
That is interesting. We haven't had one though since last.
When was the last one, by the way?
2 weeks ago?
It's been a few weeks.
Was it?
Yeah, no, it's been longer than that, I think.
Before LSA, I think.
Oh, there's one thing else that was added. I just saw it in the show notes. You can now use your Dissidia points to get high power orbs and higher power orbs. They're priced at 50, and same thing for guard orbs. Sorry, they're priced at 25 points or 50 points each, depending on the level, and you have a stock of 5 of each, I presume, each week. So.
Yep.
Yeah, that's useful too. Basically, great quality of life changes throughout. All these changes are people having resources sitting around, like Dissidia points and bells and stuff. This gives you incentive to use them all. It's great.
So, let's move on to Crystal Awakenings. There was one surprise. Obviously, we had Lightning, Squall, Hope, Lightning, Squall, Ace, Zidane, Onion Knight. We knew these, but then Square Enix pulled a quick one of us on us and replaced Sarah, which everybody was expecting and hoping for the dead parents' boy. Dick move.
I get it now. There's a pattern going on. Square Enix is bumping up all the useless characters and weapons that got ignored when they launched in Japan to give them.
So we're getting Yuffie Awakening next? That's what you're saying?
It's coming.
Hey, probably earlier than the last wave. Earlier than the last wave. I would not.
Yuffie is coming.
Mino, I think your theory on that was that Sarah would have been just way too overpowered if she had been brought in at this point in the game, right?
Maybe, but also I think if Hope came out the next wave, he would be ignored by everybody.
Kreese on Twitch is saying that I think people were paying attention, were expecting Hope replacing Sarah. It's because of Gilgamesh.
Oh, that makes sense. Right, because they did that with Rem as well. Yep. Rem was a feature character on Noctis.
So, Kreese, you have all of us beat. We were not paying attention, apparently, because that makes sense.
That makes sense, too. But I also want to stick to, and we'll get into Tidus EX later, that they want to bring some stuff up earlier that was ignored on launch.
All right, so let's get through them one by one, and you guys tell me what you think. Are they worth it now? Are they worthless now? Let's start off with a bang with Onion Knight. What's new with the guy?
Mark, do you want to cover any of these? Or
yeah, no, I'll talk about the OK Kid.
Oh, I can do the changes if you're not familiar with them, and then we can give our commentary on it. Or unless you know the.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so with the adjustments, they completely redid his stacks. You know how whenever he does Blizzard, he gets Sage stacks, and whenever he does multi-hit, he gets Ninja stacks. Before, if you switch stances at all the other ones would disappear. Now he keeps them, which is really nice, right? So you can build up Sage 3 and then switch to Ninja and then come back to Sage. It'll still be 3. That makes him infinitely better. It really does. And then what his Awakening does is First, it gives you an HP attack on each of these once you get 3 stacks. So if you have 3 stacks of Ninja, multi-hit now does an HP attack. And if you do 3 stacks of Sage, Blizzard has an HP attack. Then they buffed the hell out of what he gets for each stack. Because Sage 3, he gets a big attack buff and 20% magic attack buff for each stack. And then he gets 10% physical attack buff for each ninja stack, which means if you give him a buffer, like an attack buffer and a max brave buffer, he can do a lot of damage. He comes with the rarest buffs, right? Physical attack and magic attack, and a shit ton of it. Whoops, I was tone down the swearing, right? And now he can hit really, really high numbers. That's the gimmick. So have you had a chance to see him in action or use him, you guys?
I have not seen one. I'd like to, because he's one that's a little bit more interesting. I unfortunately only have, what do I have? I do not have his 15 CP, but I think I have his 35 CP.
Oh, sorry, and God of Cloud, right, is he mentioned some buffs, but also I forgot that when you get the extensions, he gains 2 stacks a move.
Yes.
So yeah, so that speeds up his build up considerably.
Yeah, so I'm very interested to see one, very truthfully, because he's at least an interesting option.
Yes.
And there's not, he doesn't have a lot of competition, I don't feel like, in the red crystal area.
Yeah, I'm tempted to try him out because I ML beat him chasing Tidus X. We'll see. Otherwise, he's just a DPS, I guess. Nothing special. Stacks are fun.
So a niche character for certain events.
Yeah, he doesn't start. No, he's not really a niche character. He's just a damage dealing self buffer.
He's a good all around, which is his design, because he can do magic damage or physical, and he can either be fast or hard hitting. So
but he doesn't start out with the HP attacks though, so that's his one kind of drawback, right?
Oh, God of Cloud says if the buffs applied before the attack, he'd be much better. They do, God of Cloud. If you read the adjustments, now the buffs actually do apply before. To activate the HP attack, yeah, but the damage buffs apply before he hits. So.
All right. Now, next in the list is Zidane, Mark's favorite boy monkey.
I like Zidane, yeah.
Yeah. Not big on changes
for him.
He got more uses, and now his debuffs are guaranteed. So he's like a souped-up Tidus. And this was supposed to be the time he surpassed Tidus, and you would use him instead of Tidus.
Sorry.
But then Tidus got his X weapon, so sorry, Zidane. It's okay. I mean, it's true to the game, right? Like, wasn't the whole thing with Zidane in FF9 that he had a shortened lifespan?
He had a shortened what?
Lifespan? Oh, sorry, did I cut off?
No, Vivi has a limited lifespan.
I thought the Genomes did too. Oh, Kuja did, right? Kuja was destined to die early, I'm pretty sure. Somebody in the chat back me up on this. Please.
Wait, what are we talking about? Like the story of the game changed?
In the story.
Yeah, the story in FF9, right.
Then I would
okay.
But we will be getting Zidane's EX on January 9th, so
which is considered pretty mediocre, sadly.
Pretty much. So
worse than
sorry.
What's her face? Worse than Terra's?
Oh no one's worse than Terra's, so you can only go up from there.
That's the bottom of the barrel.
In fact, Dark Knight Cecil's EX is considered pretty near the bottom as well.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, Ace. What's new with the tuxedo wearing, ball throwing guy?
Cards.
His gimmick. Fun. Yeah. His gimmick is, so if you're familiar with him, he used to build up to 3 cards and then spend it to do a super ability. Now his new gimmick when he's awakened is that it's like Noctis and Lightning, right? Like if you break or hit a broken opponent with his ability, he doesn't lose any cards. So he can keep throwing those super abilities out. And if you don't, he only loses 1 card, so it only takes 1 turn to build back up. And that's his Awakening. Does more damage, too.
It's exciting.
But it
Too bad
kind
we
of
didn't get
sounds
him
like
last month.
the whole mechanic makes more sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, he's a much more consistent Magic Brave shaver now. I don't know if anyone can take his place, because Terra can't shave Brave as well as Ace, I think, since Ace has higher potencies and both of his abilities shave.
Yeah, he was great at that when he came out initially. Yeah, so makes sense that he's kind of reclaimed that spot.
Oh, and Kreese adds in, also, he doesn't lose cards when getting broken anymore, which he used to do.
Yeah, that is nice.
Oh, I hadn't noticed at all.
Yeah, I
don't have any of his
either.
gear, so
Yeah.
sorry, Ace.
Me neither.
All right. Dead Parents Boy.
Oh, Hope.
God, I hate
Okay.
Hope.
Is there any hope for Hope?
Oh
boy.
I don't know. I don't know. Because so I remember in Japan he was rated pretty highly when this first happened, because battery wise it's not bad. I think he does 110% of his attack as a battery to the group anytime he does his protections now, which I think can get pretty high, right? I don't have a Hope raised, so I'm not sure, but 110% of your attack stat seems pretty decent. And he also has an HP plus now, which gives everyone a battery of 50% of the HP damage he's done, which I think is, so he's just giving you your whole party brave no matter what he does, which is pretty good. But he has a lot of competition. There's a lot of really strong batteries in the game right now. And once Selphie and Cait Sith come out, he's just
Chris on Twitch is saying amazing defense support, but Selphie. Yeah,
exactly. Like, because we're cursed with the gift of foresight, we know Selphie's coming in a week, and we know Cait Sith is soon. There's no reason to invest in other batteries, especially one that scales off of attack, because Selphie's whole thing is she doubles initial brave.
Well, and Hope's whole thing is protect and shell, and that's all he does is protect and shell.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
Selphie has a much better power than either of those. Has one of her powers, and she heals in addition to that.
Yeah,
and it's a superior battery, much cuter. I don't want to punch Selphie in the face like I want to punch Hope in the face. She doesn't have a stupid boomerang. She has nunchucks because she's awesome.
Nikolai 82 on Twitch says, do you think the meta will be the same with Selphie and Cait plus launcher going forward? I think we should address that later, right? I think that'll be relevant later in our podcast, but we'll just get through the Awakening.
All right. So there's no hope for Hope. Silent Boy, Mr. Squall.
Oof, he's strong. Oof.
He's strong? Boy, be strong?
Yeah, his changes were, so Solid Barrel now does an AoE Brave hit, and if you reach 80% of his max Brave, he'll do an HP attack. And then Renzo is the opposite, where now he'll do 50% HP damage to everyone that's not a primary target. So basically, he's slapping everybody for Brave and for HP. And if it wasn't for the Tidus EX, we'll talk about later, he'd be the only person with this kind of AoE capability. And he's, first of all, have you guys tried him? Because he's the only character I awakened.
Mine is 60/60.
Have you been enjoying him?
Yeah, oh man, I love, because
like
one of the nice reasons to use him is to, if you're grinding, especially any of the crystal levels, any winter waltz kind of stuff.
Yeah,
he burns through that stuff so fast.
Yeah, he hits like a truck now. It feels really nice. Like I think when he someone on Discord, was it Macnol? Yeah, it's Macnol, one of our listeners. I think he's here too. They were saying that by pairing him with Lilithset, because Lilithset can give that, the passive 25% boost to all stats. Squall can kill this 3 turns cycle quest. Renzo each round and kill everything with the boost. And
try that.
And he's very relevant and very useful for a long time, because even when his damage starts to fall off, he's still doing amazing damage to trash waves. Oh, wait, Pierre's going to try it right now. And even when he's not hitting the bosses as hard, he can still reduce the turns in any like EX fight by a ton by just wiping out the weak enemies, right? The ones that you don't want to waste abilities or time on. He's just super, super useful.
Just one sec, my phone is being stupid.
So and here's Macnol with another tip. Let's see. He says, here's a neat trick. If you put Squall alone in your party with Brother Summon, you can one-shot cycle quests easily due to break bonus going entirely. So that's pretty nice.
I don't even know how to put someone alone in a party.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Yeah, you just drag party members off, yeah.
I just never had any good reason to even attempt that, but
well, with 7 new characters who are awakening to level 60, you're probably not going to be doing that for a while, but once they're all fully leveled, then yeah, why not?
Yeah, to catch up on Twitch, apparently there's a lot of chatter. Let's see. Someone was asking a question. Oh, right. What is Selphie 30% mitigation? Yeah, Selphie reduces all incoming Brave damage by 30%. Hope does 60%, but he has to choose between physical and magical, a separate buff for each. And
in between doing that, he's upset that his mommy died.
That came out of nowhere.
He has to take a turn to feel bad about himself.
And so I'm going to say the same thing about Squall that I said about Vaughn that pissed a lot of people off too, though, is I think he's better as a friend unit. Like, I would rather field 3 really strong characters and then just call a friend Squall in, clear my waves, and then have him back out.
So you're saying that you and Squall should be friends, but nothing more?
Friend zone Squall. Well, he's useful to use now, but I'm just saying his damage will fall off for sure.
Which of Squall's attack is supposed to be AoE now?
Both.
They're both AoE.
So Solid Barrel should be AoE Brave, and Renzo should be AoE HP. You have to have him. Did you?
You have to have him fully awakened, and you have to have the.
Oh, okay. He needs to be 6.
Yeah.
I thought
those are his awakened powers. Yes.
Okay.
That's not his change. So yeah, so Solid Barrel will hit, and then normally, you attack one target, and then it does brave damage to the other 2 if you're doing 3. And Renzo Kuken will do HP damage to one target, and then do 50% to the others.
He's the AoE killer now. As of right now, he is the best option against AoE waves, unless you have Tidus EX.
Whose place did he take?
We haven't had a good one since
Kuja. Did he take Kuja's? Did he take Kuja's place?
Kuja hasn't been doing the damage that he needs to for a while. So, but yeah, Kuja was a good one. Laguna is going to come back, right, in that area. With his awakening,
not pure damage wise, but like he buffs and batteries and debuff. Yeah, he like ultimate AoE support.
Yeah. All right, and the final but not last, lightning.
She has a good one. It's not a crap awakening. So they doubled down on the paradigm system from the game. So like I don't have it in front of me, so you guys can correct me. But I think Commando. So if you Spark Strike, she gets a Brave Plus, where she starts doing more Brave shaving, and then if you Flourish, she gets an HP Plus, where she gets it's exactly like Prish's. She gets a fraction of her attack stat as a battery before doing an HP attack. So it kind of doubles down on how the paradigms work, and she's still fast as hell.
She is still super fast.
I ran some co-ops with some Awakened Lightnings, and they would still go 3 or 4 times before my Squall got to go. It was like solo to boss. It's insane. But she's just not going to skill. It's like everyone else in this wave. They do okay. They're not going to last for a long time. Maybe until the next Awakening wave, just like Furion did in Wave 1.
Yeah, you know, she really doesn't. So I've seen some fully 60/60 lightnings with some decent, you can tell some decent artifacts. And she's doing pretty good damage, but you know, we're still not talking about the damage that, you know, Vaughn or Cloud or Terra are doing. So
yeah. Oh, and Kreese corrected me. Spark Strike for the HP plus, Flourish for the Brave plus. Thanks, Kreese.
yeah, right.
All right.
So
So
longevity, she gets tons of uses, and the HP and the Brave plus, which is nice.
I mean, she's still fast, so I think she still burns through it. Yeah.
So
sorry,
let's say
go
you
ahead.
have all the shards in the world, but Square was being really, really mean, and you can only fully limit break one of them. Which one would you pick?
Squall. Easy.
Squall.
It's because the problem with everyone else in this wave that Mark and I were talking about before the show is they're nothing special. It's nothing new. They're stronger, but it's not new. Squall is a completely new beast because we have no one else to fill the AoE killer yet.
Yeah.
I bet so Selphie's going to do that because apparently she's going to do
about
fucking anything.
She does everything. she plans a really mean party too. So if you need to organize some kind of events, she's really good at that.
Yeah.
So
she's
just a good time.
Yeah. Squall's the only one I.
That covers it for the Awakening. Now, EX weapons. We have Tidus and Dark Knight Cecil. Why don't we start with Dark Knight Cecil?
Yes, let's.
And keep Tidus for last. So, which one of you got 3 copies of it? Mark, did you?
Yeah, I have all the EX weapons. No, I haven't even pulled on that banner.
Okay, thank God.
Both of you guys haven't pulled?
No,
I'm
I
surprised.
haven't.
No, not on the Dark Knight Cecil banner.
I don't think Pierre pulled on anything.
I'm done pulling. I don't believe in that anymore.
He doesn't. Who needs weapons?
Okay,
these newfangled weapons.
Let me rephrase that. I think I'm finally getting on board with the mentality of I'm done chasing certain things.
That hit me today, and I'll talk about that story when we talk about Tidus X. I don't want it.
I spent so much on Cloud, on Noctis, even on Terra, out of desperation to finally have one freaking EX. Until I realize, I think it's the Saiyan guy that we talked about last week that got like fucking 2 great weapons with 2 tickets. And then I said, you know what? I'm done. So, obviously, I'm a very semi-bipolar impulsive person. So tomorrow morning, I might go all in on some crazy shit. But right now, that's how I'm playing it.
Well, I was going to do a few polls on Tidus on the show, so make you feel better.
It doesn't. It'll only make me want to pull on it. What's wrong?
Don't do that.
But
wait, do it for the show. Yeah, later.
Let's talk about Cecil and get him out of the way. So
he does
EX
dark
weapon
damage.
Is Waning Crescent, which gives the EX ability Dark Cannon, which is a 3-hit dark range brave attack plus HP attack. Stolen Brave may exceed max Brave up to 200%, which is not too bad. And it increases uses of Darkness and Valiant Blow by 1 after use. And I think that applies only once, though.
No, you can do it as many times as you can cast it. The problem is getting more casts.
It's super slow.
Yeah. So the breakdown is, first, this introduces the overflow mechanic into GL, which is a very nice mechanic that I really like, that they use a lot in JP, which is a way to it's a way to fight the launching meta, which we'll talk about later. Because you know how launches amplify the damage, but they can only amplify up to your max Brave. This lets you go past your max Brave so that it's an option besides launching. And it's great because it also makes your max Brave worth more. 200% overflow for Cecil means that with this attack, he can go up to double his max brave and damage. It's nice. The downside is this is the slowest EX weapon we've gotten yet, and so it takes like 5 or 6 abilities before you can even use it once. And after that, it takes like another 4 abilities before you can use it again. And Cecil only has so many abilities, so
yeah, 5
that's
uses
a struggle.
of darkness and 3 uses of Valiant Blow before.
Yeah, and then you get a recharge, and then you try again. Most times, you're only going to see this once in a fight. And then even JP players have said that in long fights, you'll maybe see it twice. So really, you're only getting 1 or 2 extra charges of your abilities, and it's not worth it, to be honest.
It's not great.
And Cecil's already so slow in the first place, right? Like, how many turns is he going to get? That's
when is Paladin Cecil coming out? Let's just can we just stop with this Dark Knight Cecil stuff?
It's like what is it? Act 2, Chapter 2 or 3. So basically 3 to 4 story chapters before.
Yeah.
I wonder what's going to be the story behind that.
As I think. Well, I don't want to spoil.
No. I didn't mean it as a way of let's spoil it for everyone. I'm just generally curious about what it's going to be, but I do not want it spoiled. So, all right. So now that we know that Cecil's EX is garbage, let's move on to Tidus.
Okay.
You guys got it?
Less garbage.
Oh my god! No.
Ouch.
I sank. So I think anyone who's been following the podcast knows that I've been hoarding gems for a long time, and I hit 135k gems going into this. And then I heard Tidus EX was coming. I got super excited because I was like, this is just like his 35. It's coming over 3 months early. It is that much more powerful. It's going to make the game a breeze for a few months, just like Lightning 35 did and Tidus 35 did. And so I was like, I have no idea what I want to spend these gems on, so let me go all in. So statistically, you should get an EX weapon in 100k gems. Statistically. So I thought 135, my chances are pretty good. No, I completely wiped out. I MLB'd everything on the banner that wasn't Tidus EX. And then here's the worst part. Then I bought the $37 bundle for an extra 9k gems for another 2 pulls, and I still struck out. And then I used all the tickets from the events. I struck out.
Wait. Are you telling us you spent 150k gems on
145k? Yes, 145k. Yes, and like 50 tickets or something. And this is the hardest I have ever lost in a gacha game. Everyone has worse stories. I remember Pierre used to always tell me several $100s on FFRK, right?
Oh man, that shout.
The shout story. That was rough.
I still wake up in sweats at night.
And you're not the worst. Like I've talked to a lot of others, like Shara89, who's a Discord and Reddit mod. He's also spent money on gachas before, over 100, and gotten burned. And the worst that ever happened to me was 70k gems for Lena 35. That was the worst I've ever seen in a gacha. So I'm pretty fucking lucky. Drop Nep. I'm pretty lucky.
I think it's appropriate with this story.
I was going to say, go right ahead.
With Cloud EX, I got that in 10k. Super lucky. With Noctis, tickets. And then so I was like, oh wow, EX era is not that bad. Now 145k gems, $37 and 50 tickets. I came out empty-handed, but I have the good grace of knowing that this is when I walk away. I'm done with this banner. I'm not going to spend money I don't have. And I tried to justify it by saying Christmas bonus, you know. That's a terrible excuse. And but anyways, back to the EX. So what it does is it's another weapon from the future, just like Tidus 35. 100% AoE damage. Yeah, 100% AoE damage is unseen. Oh yeah, Mark's pulling. Should we wait for Mark to pull? Mark,
do you want to wait for Mark to pull?
Okay. He said keep talking while we pull. So it's 100% AoE damage. That's unheard of. When Squall came out in JP, he did 50% AoE damage, and everyone was like, this is amazing. How are they ever going to power creep Squall? He does so much damage. Well, instantly here in GL, as soon as Squall comes out, we have Tidus doing 100% AoE damage. Not only that, but it's 390% potency. It's up every other turn because it's a fast charge, just like
so fast.
It's a fast charge, just like Cloud's. Even better is that Tidus is an insanely fast character, so you could technically EX, quick hit, and then EX again. And then, like, you can just spam the hell out of it. Like, nothing else in the game comes close to this amount of damage yet. And it gives him a permanent HP plus that Saw's has. You know, like the a Brave plus HP on his HP attack. Saw's needed the buff to be up. Tidus just needs to breathe and exist, and he has the HP plus permanently now. So it is so freaking strong. Yeah, it's definitely, if you pulled Tidus 35 when he first came out and you enjoyed that power, this is the equivalent. And I chased it so hard and failed, and now I'm walking away.
Well, Broadway saying got it in 4 tickets, so
yeah,
that makes you feel any better.
Yeah, I know.
That's not how it works, Mark.
Oh, that's crap! I thought that would help.
What I tell myself to feel better is that GL's moving at an accelerated pace, so it won't be super good as long as the 35 was. But it's nice to have if you got it. Congratulations, I envy you.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is you can bring him in as a friend, and he can use his EX ability 3 times in a 5-turn summon. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. He has a ton of longevity. Kreese was saying, yeah, don't forget the HP plus. Yeah, he lasts forever now. But on a turn-by-turn basis, there will still be heavier hitters. Like, if it's 10 Vaughn turns versus 10 Tidus turns, Vaughn will still win out Terra 2, I think. But in a longer fight, he'll do.
Yeah.
What's next, Pierre?
I didn't get it.
Just wasting the 20 tickets I had.
Oh, no.
Did you get any 5 stars?
No, absolutely not. Of course not.
Okay.
Oh, I just got a dupe 15 CP Onion Knight Sword, so that's another power storm for me. That brings me up to 40.
God of Cloud says, Mino, if we market $1 to gem ratio at the best deal, you used $595 on the banner. Yes, I purposely, somebody did ask me, they're like, how, because somebody who doesn't play the game asked me how much is that in money. They play another gacha game. They play Fire Emblem Heroes. And he's like, how much is 135k gems in real money? And I was like, I don't even want to calculate it. And even if it's hundreds of dollars, which I know it is, at least it was given to us free, right? Like, I don't count it as a dollar equivalent because this was all given to us free. I spent $37 of my own money, but the other 135k gems were free.
You can't turn it back to Square for $500, right?
Yeah, I know. It's not poker chips. I can't redeem this for money, so you can only spend it on draws. I don't feel like it's that terrible.
All right, let's move on to actual events now. First, let's cover the Krile's last chapter, Will of the Dawn, aka Galuf is old and just silly. So Krile has been awakening as well. We didn't cover her early, and that was on purpose. So what's new with Krile, and is she still horrible?
I still haven't looked at her awakened powers.
So what she gains is her battery becomes a lot stronger. 200% int brave. That's pretty decent, as well as giving the elemental weakness. So now it's 60% damage. So if you do elemental weakness, if you hit an elemental weakness with her buff, you're dealing 210% damage. I think it's really good. She's going to work well with Selphie because Selphie buffs batteries that run on int brave, and then she also gets big max brave on thunder and a big potency. She's pretty good, but again, all batteries are doomed once the Selphie Cait Sith meta comes in. So,
and she's in the highly competitive Blue Crystal.
She'll
arena.
be good until Cait Sith comes out, but that could be either in a month or 2.
Yeah,
so she could last you for a month or 2, which I think is a decent amount of time in a gacha.
But in GP, wasn't Selphie and Cait said before Gilgamesh?
Yes.
Okay. So
wait, really?
Wait, Selphie
really?
was before Gilgamesh. I'm not sure about Cait Sith.
Well, in the list, in Dissidia DB, they're both before Gilgamesh, and usually they're sorted in the order they were released.
Maybe. I remember having this talk today too. I'm not sure. I know that our events are super accelerated. So we're getting events faster and out of order. So it's possible that... Wait. I don't know. Good question.
Yeah, I was just wondering. Okay, so basically, Will of the Dawn, in the hard mode, there's the greatest Destilis Malboro with a whole bunch of other folks, and the last part, it's 2 of those ugly little bastards. What strategy are our Decidians and listeners should use to beat them?
Kill them with fire.
Fire.
Not literally, just bring somebody to come and kill them.
I think it was weak. I don't remember any strategy either.
They're weak to...
Yeah, because apparently... So they released as a set in Japan, right? It was Krile, Snow, and Thancred at the same time, and Krile was considered the weakest, the easiest LC. And I know a lot of people were scared because it was 2 Malboros, but the only thing they do is give you attack down. They don't give you bad breath and a ton of debuffs, so I just burn them. I don't think there's that much strategy involved.
Yeah, this was, and again, I don't have any notes for this. This was the easiest lost chapter to date.
Really?
I mean, I breezed through that so easily.
Who'd you bring?
I'm sure I brought Von, Terra, and Cloud.
Oh, here's the thing I want to point out, though, that I'm sure Pierre can relate to, but one of the guys on the global tier list crew, Shara, the mod I mentioned earlier, so he still does not have any EXs. So he says, when people say a fight is easy... Yeah, he says, when people say a fight is easy, they don't factor in no EX weapon.
Thank you.
Because he said he did the latest solo, right? The latest Awakening Heretic solo, Twilight and Dusk, that we need to talk about. And he said that he's so annoyed because people were saying, this is so easy. I only needed 1 EX weapon to clear it. And he's like, well, as someone with no EX weapons, this is pretty hard, guys. Like, no joke. This is pretty tough. So I want Pierre's weighing in on how
does it really make that. I mean,
I think it does, dude. The EX weapons, not only they hit hard, but if you have like clouds, it's every other turn, right? Like you're
every 3 maybe. Yeah, it's slow.
Yeah, well,
normal.
I haven't played as much as I should have lately because of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So I actually started playing a lot of the content this morning. I let my son take the Switch out for his commute to school so that it would force me to put my time on Dissidia. So, all right. So basically for Krile, no big strategy. Bring fire, avoid the debuffs, and burn through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think you need to worry about the debuffs now, because I brought the one. So the reason I say that it was so easy, because I brought Krile in my first run, and my Krile sucks, terrible. You know, level 50, crystal strength 50, no weapons, nothing. And she's worthless. So I did not bring Von, Terra, and Cloud because I brought Krile, and I got the high score with Krile in the party.
Same. I saw Mark's score. I think he beat me by like 10K or so. Yeah, but I still got 12K, and I think you only needed like 80. I mean, I got 120, and you needed 80. Yeah,
and like I said, that was with Krile. That was the Krile run. and she does nothing. Like, so I think I must have brought Cloud, Terra, and Krile. Yeah, and it was just
All right.
very
Moving on. Twilight Menace or Menance or whatever that is. First off,
Menace.
can we please agree that it's been raining rewards for the last 24 hours?
I love it. I love these community challenges because every time I turn on the game, I just get free stuff. It's
Well, it felt that every time I was out of the battle, I was getting free stuff. Like my mission button was just sparkling all the time.
and it's just and they're tricking us because you're just getting like 5 high shards at a time, but you get so many of them that it feels like you're just like drowning in rewards.
See, I'm getting new things now, and I just barely switched it.
Yeah, as McNull says, it is Christmas after all. So.
And we're almost there as well. So many shards.
Look at.
All right. So, and there's also armor tokens that they've been giving away, like candies and
4 power stones was a big one. Yeah, there was a 4 power stone reward, I believe.
Gee, I'm up to 80 armor tokens at this point.
Me too.
That's nice. Loaded Mix says they gotta fatten us up for these banners, and I think there's some truth to that because we're getting content at an accelerated. They gotta throw us some like extra stuff here and there so we can actually pull and be tempted.
Well, you know, Square give it, and Square will take it away very quickly. So
yeah, they took away my 145k gems really quick.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think it, but I mean, I think being generous with the high shards is a good move because ideally we want more characters awoken, so we have more options, so you can do more, have more fun playing the game because you're not going to be playing with 50-50 characters. And you're probably not going to be playing with 51-60 characters either. So, you know, I think the more high shards is a good move. Even if it's not a full 270 each awakening wave, you know, it should probably be close to that with the event characters coming out so that, you know, you could awaken several characters in each color, which we can for green right now. Three green if you have all the high shards.
Yep.
All right. Now, talking about the co-op banners, the co-op battles, I mean, there's the, what's it called? Just one second. There's the intermediate banner that took forever and a half for me to host this morning because nobody was interested in that by the point I got in. And then there's the expert banner. I think we can pretty much agree that these battles are a walk in the park for any party you can throw at it.
Yeah, if you're having trouble with the 50, like if you didn't get on like the first hour, just solo it.
Oh, really? You can hit the score soloing?
Yeah, you can solo the 50.
Yeah, I mean, I like that we have
host with a bell and then solo it. Yep.
I like that we have an extra fight to give us rewards, but this is split lobbies. So just like Pierre's saying, people who come in late and try to do the intermediate, they're screwed. No one's queuing for that. Like, nope. I wish they didn't keep splitting these co-op lobbies.
Well, see, here's the error I did this morning. I waited for like 3 minutes to host an intermediate, and then nothing happened. So I said, hey, that's right, they changed the bell system. So I went as a gas. I used a bell. We got the third one with it like 2 minutes. We beat the fight, and then nothing happened. So I had to wait and host one at some point to.
Yeah, I made that mistake too the first time. I was like, yeah, I don't have to host anymore.
And all right, and now about the expert battle. Like we said, it's really nothing to write home about. I haven't done the level 90 battles, the solo ones that get unlocked once you've completed the expert co-op battle. Any strategy or mention on those guys?
All I remember is go ahead.
No, I was going to say so you have Dusk and Dawn. Dusk is a dragon, 2 skull dragons, and then brothers. In both of these, the last wave is the easiest. That's my assessment. So the brothers, one is weak to magic, and one is weak to physical and ranged. One is weak to magic. So that makes that wave particularly easy unless you're bringing elemental characters. The two Skull Dragons, I think, are the hardest characters, and they resist tons of debuffs. So, bringing a debuffer is not going to really help. They're immune to attack down, defense down, speed down, and sap. So that was, I feel like that second wave was the hardest part of that.
Yeah.
But that being said, the target scores is 35,000 and I got 130,000. So, and it took me 31 turns. So it must not, like I posted that on Twitter. And I think Legacer said like, yeah, that's not really that tricky then, is it? I guess not, but it seemed difficult at the time. Like that second wave was gonna, but
yeah, a loaded mix says always summon on the second wave. And I agree with that. I didn't even know that strategy, but my instinct was, why is this wave taking so goddamn long? I need to.
I did not summon on the second wave, but definitely use your abilities. I mean, I think summoning's a good call too. But
that dragon in intermediate had a ton of defense. I was shocked by I was like, what? They actually cranked up the defense. I was like, my heaviest hitters are not breaking 1,000 damage.
That doesn't fare too well for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just that. So you're okay.
I brought Squall, Cloud, Terra, Bahamut, friend Squall for Dusk.
Yeah, and the first one is supposed to be significantly easier than the second one, so you should be good, Pierre.
Yeah, and Dawn is the dragon, and the dragon has tons of defense. 2 Twilight booster machines, and the Chimera, who is weak to everything. So not elemental, but he's weak to physical, ranged, and magic. So the Chimera is super easy to kill. The booster machines are not that tough as long as you can kind of mitigate. So obviously Squall is super good at that. Lightning super good at that because they're weak to lightning. Go figure. So yeah, that's that one. I actually took more turns, so I didn't get as good a score. I got 115,000 on that one. But you do need a higher score. You need 100,000 to get all the points on that one.
That one actually took me a second try. I wasn't sure why, but it was more difficult. I think it's because did they break you easier?
The booster machines?
No, I think the Chimera was getting a lot of brave attacks in. I don't know.
I felt the Chimera went down really fast.
Yeah. Either way, I noticed it was harder because it took me more than one try.
Are you bringing Bahamut these days to this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I did, but
I just wondered.
I felt like Ifrit or Brother would have been better. I didn't get too many breaks in these fights.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth, especially in co-op. Things like that. Is a free. I feel like if you're doing a fast mission, a free's still better. But certainly during the longer fights, Bahamut's going to be, and Bahamut's summon is amazing, especially with characters like Cloud and
right,
Terra and Squall and Bahamut.
Yeah, I told you guys it's the new go-to unless there's a gimmick to the fight that doesn't get you a lot of breaks.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't feel like these were too hard, but again, that's 3 fully awakened characters, max limit broke with 2 EX weapons. So, sorry. Let's tell you.
All right, this is just in breaking news. Kreese on Twitch says, okay, I awakened Onion, tested him in co-op, and he's really strong in Sage. Slow as hell, though. Didn't have time to test Ninja mode, so 22k max Brave with synergy boost at max stacks.
Yeah, I feel like he's got some potential, so.
Here, let me take a look at. I think so in Sage mode, he gets 60% magic attack buff, so that's like a Saz boost right there.
Yeah.
And then let me see. It is. Here we go. No, it's not only is it 60% magic attack, but also 30% attack. So his attack basically doubles. And
that is nice.
80% max Brave as well when Sage is active. So yeah, he's a monster. Just, sadly, because he doesn't have a unique gimmick, he's not going to stand out when the next awakening hits. As people I'm sure are seeing by now, this is wave 3 of awakenings. Every wave is significantly more powerful than the last. Power creep is starting to accelerate in this game.
But it just gets ridiculous. They just start adding like more and more and more stuff per each of those powers.
Yeah, the theory is that they realized they added too much because the 70 awakenings in Japan are much more like many of the 60 characters can still compete with the 70s because some of them just didn't get that much at all.
But I think that's how it should be at some point, because otherwise it just gets ridiculous.
Right. Like, I'm just saying, like, I think they went too hard in the 60 era because these jumps are enormous, right?
But there were a lot of broken characters that they had to,
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So, like, I think in the first year or two of the game, they went too hard, and now they're trying to slow down the power.
Yeah, because you can't take anything away without causing an outrage. So the only thing you can do is pretend you're adding stuff, as in the level 70 awakening, but go really easy on the change and on the power creep.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have to be real careful in a game like this, balancing for the company, balancing the creating new content, creating new characters, creating new abilities, creating new weapons, so that people spend money on the game, which is their business. They need that to happen. And the fact that this is a nostalgia game, so you want to be able to use your favorite characters. And so especially those main characters are going to constantly need to kind of be towards the top. Because if your main protagonists fall to the bench, it's not good. Now,
right.
if Yuffie's benched, who cares, right? Like, there are Yuffie
that's so true, because just right now in Japan, they're talking about, like, so 70s, they're some of the characters are getting reworks. Like, I'm sure we've all heard of, like, Cloud and Squall reworks and Warrior of Light. Yeah. And they said that when these characters are given reworks, for the main characters, they pull all the stops. Like, the main characters get insane reworks, and the side characters not so much.
Which is why I think it's, if you're just kind of looking as an overall strategy who to invest in, I think you're pretty solid kind of long term to invest in the protagonists.
Oh, guys, now you've offended God of Cloud by saying that nobody cared about Yuffie.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Apologize. That's not nice.
See, God of Cloud. If you remember from, I think it was E3 where we had the interview with the devs. There was a big stream, right? Yeah, it was E3.
Yeah.
And the devs, the director of the game said that it is their goal to give every character at least some time in the spotlight. So there's hope for Yuffie.
Yeah, Yuffie had 5 minutes between midnight and midnight 05.
No. I mean, even if so, that's something. But
so we're going to go to Golden Saucer. Yuffie's going to shine.
I was gonna say, but with 100+ characters, let's see if they keep their promise. They said, with like Saz had no time to shine in JP. He at least had some time in GL, so that's something.
I'm just like, several of my favorite characters aren't even in the game yet, so
I'm waiting for Riku FF10, please. Last one.
Like we have how many Final Fantasy Type 0 characters do we have? Like 19? I mean, seriously.
I think we haven't even scratched half the cast yet.
No, well, that's true. There's a lot of them. We got a good chunk of Final Fantasy 14, and you don't actually play those characters, right? I mean,
yeah, we're not even halfway through them either.
Those aren't even main characters.
Yeah, we're not half done.
Yeah, we don't have the two that I like from that game. So,
which ones?
Alpha Nod and MILF.
Ah, yeah. Well, we were having a discussion. Alpha, no. Pierre should have corrected me because it's a French name. He should have known. Oh, nice. But he just came out in Japan, and I hear
Alpha no is in Japan.
pretty okay. He has the Arcanist skill set. That's it.
Fancy.
Okay, moving on to the question of the week from Mitron in Discord. When someone says, pull on this character, they'll be good for a long time, what does that mean? Since Global has an accelerated pace compared to Japan, is a long time 2 weeks, 1 month, 4 months? How's it work? What's your take on that, guys?
So Tidus, let's just say we're talking about Tidus today. So how long is Tidus going to last you?
So his EX came out 3.5 months later in JP, and by then, with the EX, he was considered a decent character, meaning he should be relevant for.
Who had received their EX by the time he got his?
Oh, jeez.
A lot of people, like Ramza,
huge list.
Oh, that much? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But so like he was the very first instance of 100% AoE damage in the game, so he was a huge deal. And they were like, "Oh, outside of his EX, he's garbage," you know. But whenever the EX is thrown, it's good. So so like his EX is competitive that far down the line. But even then, he was like maybe a B tier character, depending on how high your tier list goes. You know, like S, double S. I don't know how many S's you want to put on there. But he was like a high tier, not amazing, but his EX kept him relevant. So now that he's 3.5 months early, he should be pretty high top tier for at least 2 months at our rate, I think, which is why I really wanted that weapon, but it's okay.
I hear you didn't get it.
back to the question. I feel like in a gacha game, and this might be controversial, but I feel like if a character is good for a month, that's pretty okay. It's good. If they're good for 2 months, that's amazing. That's my
takeaway. Well, when did we get Cloud here? Let me look. When was the first awakening? So the first awakening was October 31st. So it's been over a month and a half, and I'm still using Cloud and Terra. So
yeah, I would feel like that was worth my gem investment, right? If I chased them.
No, I agree.
Lightning lasted like 2.5 months in GL, and I felt like that was a long time. Tidus too. Tidus did like 2.5 or 3 months.
Yeah, Tidus. Yeah.
Like that's 2.5.
I think Ico, Tidus, Lightning, and Zaz were kind of that first wave of characters that had real longevity.
Yeah, and I feel it's so ridiculous because I see on the Reddit and Discord all the time, people were making fun of Terra, right? Because it was like, Terra's going to be top of the meta for 2 months. And people were like, 2 months? That's nothing. I'm not going to invest in her. It's like, are you serious? Like 2 months is a lot of time.
I would love to own the game for 2 months.
Yeah, like people like say 2 months isn't long. Well, nobody's gonna last that long. Like I don't know what kind of longevity you're looking for, but a month or two, a month is good. 2 months is great. That's how.
Yeah. And I think the Zaz, because Zaz lasted for more than 2 months, right?
He came out August and he lasted until Awakening. So August to October is September. 2 months. Yeah, that was 2.5.
Yeah, I guess time goes by. So yeah, if you're getting 2 months out of a character, that's really good, right?
Yeah, so people who were like crapping on Cloud EX and Terra for only lasting 2 months feels ridiculous.
But that's definitely, that's going to be definitely true of your DPS characters. Your utility characters might still have their use here and there, even after their kind of time is surpassed by other people.
God of Cloud says Selphie lasts like half a year, right? Okay, let's address this because this is what I was waiting for because someone was asking earlier. I was trying to scroll up to find the name. Now I can't. But like they're saying, do you think the Selphie Cait meta will run as long in GL as it does in JP because of the accelerated content? I highly doubt it for several reasons. One is I personally have talked to Josh before, and Josh said that JP developers are aware that Cait and Selphie lasted way too long. So in GL, they're looking to actively prevent that. They are going out of their way to derail plans so that Cait and Selphie don't dominate as hard, because it's bad for business, right? If one team of characters lasts for 4+ months, and
you notice Cait, Sith, and Selphie came out in Japan real close together. Cait Sith has not been announced yet.
Yes, so they're already delaying characters. So one is
they delayed Selphie.
One is we got someone from Square Enix who directly said that they are going out of their way to make sure that the Cait, Lael, Selphie meta does not last as long. That's one. The second thing is you can see from the release patterns that they're trying to fuck things up with like Tidus EX, Saws 35. Like they're releasing things out of order so that you can't go according to plan. And like you said, they're delaying Selphie's release relatively. They're delaying Cait Sith's release. If Lael's release gets pushed back, that meta is dead, because Lael already came at the tail end of that. So
well, and I gotta say, I've been on the record many times to say how much I appreciate the fact that Square Enix in this case is not pulling an FFRK on us and just dropping everything in the same order or barely. I mean, the fact they're throwing a wrench into everybody's planning and everybody's all of those metas that were happening is something I love. It makes the game feels more alive and maintained in terms of global. It's not just a cash grab, translated in English and get the money.
I'm still pulling hard on Selphie.
Yeah. And then so Macnell saying they won't nerf the characters, which is true. That I think it's like Japanese gacha law or something, that they don't deal out nerfs. The other thing is that the reason why Cait, Selphie, Lael worked in Japan for so long is because defense got so high that DPS characters could not do damage. Right. Like if you look at some of the fights, like Agrius EX was one of the famous ones where enemies had abilities to reduce all incoming brave damage to 1. So like, why even have DPS at that point?
Not cool.
Then, you have 3 batteries. Everything Cait does is a battery. Everything Selphie does is a battery. When Lael launches, it's a battery. So like you have 3 batteries and then a launch to just dump it all. And that's why they lasted so long, because just any other comp was ineffective. All they have to do in GL is reduce defense, and suddenly they're not top dog anymore. And GL has proven that they are not above altering stats for fights. So that's always a possibility as well. And then the final thing is a lot of JP vets I talked to a lot of JP vets, and they were talking about making a post for GL in the future or something, is Selphie and Cait Sith are not instant win buttons. You need strong characters to go with them. They're support. So they support. So like, don't save all your gems for just Selphie and Cait Sith. You also need backup characters that benefit from their buffs to do damage. So don't think that once you get Selphie and Cait Sith, you don't need anything else to win the game. That needs to be announced.
And you really only use them together with that kind of idea of...
Oh, right. You only use them together. Selphie by herself is not that powerful. She was powerful because Cait Sith came along. Everyone needs to get that straight. Selphie only doubles Int Brave, which helps other batteries. She herself is not going to win you fights. So, and I think a lot of people do not realize that. And so Xenon and Sugoi, who, if anyone's on Reddit and they know the Triple Break, who lead who quote unquote lead the Japanese meta and their posts and stuff, they said that people are going to be really disappointed. They pull Selphie and expect to start wrecking the meta without Cait Sith, who might not come in a month or 2. So, like, don't think that next week all your prayers are going to be answered.
Still pulling hard on Selphie.
Oh yeah, me too.
All right, so Mitron, I hope this answers your question. Discussion of the week. I want to have that because we've mentioned Selphie. I mean, I should have counted the amount of times. We're probably like 127 at that point in the show. Just in this episode. So discussion, Selphie versus Cait Sith. Mark has made it clear that he's going hard on Selphie, but should any of us at this point, considering they're going to be so far apart, be thinking about maybe keeping them their gems for Cait Sith, or is the fact that he's being delayed just destroying the entire strategy for these two characters?
Well, I'm not sure who else I'm looking forward to. That's going to be my issue. So we're sitting on, and this is kind of skipping ahead to what. So there could be banners with the New Year's Eve thing, right?
Yep.
So there's a New Year's Eve thing coming out. There could be banners for that. So that could throw a wrench in the machine, right?
That's true.
But we have Selphie. We have Selphie next week. That's Thrance, Squall EX on that banner, unless they change it. If they do, I'll be sad. Then we have Ashe's Lost Chapter. Not going to pull on that. I'm going to awaken Ashe probably. Then we have this New Year's Eve event. Then we have Gilgamesh with Hope and Bart's EX weapon.
Is Gilgamesh any good or
not great? And we'll talk about him. He's Gilgamesh. He's fun, But then we have Awakenings, Edgar, Laguna, Prish, Ramza, Vivi, Sarah with Zidane and Y'shtola EXs. Then we have Realm with Vivi and Edgar EX. Just Edgar's EX. Vivi's on the banner. And not dates. We don't have dates. So Realm is January 16th. But we do have in the data Cater's Lost Chapter and Eris Lost Chapter. Yeah, and so I mean, I'm not sure I'm pulling on any of those banners. Very truthfully.
We'll see what happens. Like you said, New Year's could throw a wrench.
I may not have any gems, so it may not be an issue. I mean,
New Year's. I wouldn't be surprised if they did another early EX weapon in New Year's.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I mean, it depends on Vaughn EX.
Yeah, Vaughn EX. If Vaughn EX comes on Ashe LC, I'm done. Screwed. I don't have any gems. I'm screwed.
So, Mark, if Selphie is not going to be teamed with Cait Sith and you're going all out on Selphie, who are you going to team her with?
Whoever the hell I want. Squall, mostly. Talking to me.
And it's good. It's good with they say Selphie's the only battery that works with Squall.
Exactly.
Because by doubling his int brave, he has a lot more room to get battery before he does his attacks, right? So that's
I need a healer.
I don't need this says if you had to choose Selphie or Cait, which one is better on their own. So that's an easy question, actually. Cait Sith is by far superior as a character. You just drop into your team and he will do his goddamn thing and dominate. Selphie is strong because she does 30% damage mitigation. So that's like a half-assed hope. She does a bit of debuff evasion, so that's like a half-assed Lena. She does drain, which is a party heal. So she does a little bit of everything, every support, right? She does damage mitigation, debuff evasion, heals, and she practically doubles int brave and M brave, and you need int brave for batteries. That's why you pair her with an int brave battery like Cait Sith, and that's where she gets all her power from. Selphie lasts longer because she's utility and support, but she's there to make somebody else better. She's there to make Cait Sith better. That's why she wasn't a top tier character until Cait Sith came along. Cait Sith by himself is a monster because he's the first person who gets an AoE HP attack that overflows on a regular ability, whereas everyone else needed EX abilities to overflow and do AoE damage.
But I don't think you've answered the question. If you had to choose between one or the other.
Cait Sith, yeah.
I don't know. Well, Cait Sith better on his own. Yeah. Selphie better in the long run. It's a hard question. We'll tackle. Can we tackle that another time?
For Cait Sith, then it doesn't matter. If I don't get Selphie's 35 CP, it doesn't matter. So.
All right. Before we leave, I'm gonna do a poll.
Nope.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I mean,
I'm sitting at
What are you pulling on?
Tidus.
You're gonna pull Tidus, right? Yeah. So while you pull, Kree says, "I Brave batteries will work well with Selphie based on what you have said, right? So Yuna or Krile would be solid options." Yes, Krile was considered the best partner for Selphie before Cait Sith came along, because Krile is 200% iBrave battery, and then you double that, and all of a sudden it's 400% of her iBrave in battery. Yuna doesn't scale as well, I think. Yuna's Asuna does, but her cheer is attack based, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Yuna's attack based.
Ouch.
What happened?
I got a hope 15 CP.
Oh, nice.
Oh, man. I'm so sorry, Pierre. This is a terrible banner. Other than Tidus EX, I hate all of these weapons because I have Lightning MLB already, and I don't want Hope or Onion Knight's weapons.
That's funny. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, that's true, Kreese. Cheer is a brave multiplayer more than anything else, which is true, but it also means it doesn't benefit from Selphie's iBrave buff.
Macnol has a good question. Has everybody been keeping up with their free daily polls?
I have now. I think out of all of these polls, I've gotten 1 5-star, and I think it was a King 35, which I already had maxed.
I got King 35, which I didn't have at all, so that's good.
I didn't get squat, but that doesn't really surprise anyone now, does it?
I'm so sorry. Pierre, one of these days you're going to show, because if I can have bad luck, you can have good luck. Oh, and listeners, if you guys have any stories of anyone spending more than 145K and missing their weapon, please let me know, because I have been searching for someone to make myself feel better, and I have not found anyone yet. Like, no one, I have yet to come across anyone that spent 145K or more not gotten what they wanted.
That's just
I should look at it's not Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, but back when we were doing FFRK, and Sephiroth's weapon, his first weapon, which was not good.
What's the rate, though? What's the rate on it?
And this was before guaranteed. So the same thing. Each pull was 10 items. The rate was lower than our rate. And it was not, this was before guaranteed. FFRK is now guaranteed. But this was pre-guaranteed. So I think 5% was the chance.
Oh, so we also have a 5% if you do a multi-pull, so
yes,
that's equivalent, right?
Yeah, so equivalent there, but no guaranteed. And this guy, I mean, the video is at least 30 minutes long.
I remember that.
He spent, I don't know how many. I mean, like the equivalent of at least 200,000 gems in this game. I forget how much mithril he spent. Because I think each pull is 50 mithril, right, in FFRK. Yeah. So I mean, he was spending like 20,000 mithril, and he kept spending money, and so I mean, he spent tons of money, $500,000-$600,000 maybe, and he finally got it. But it was just like, I'm gonna chase this until I get it, and it was rough.
That's never a good mentality to have, I think.
And it was not, it was in no way, shape, or form game changing.
Yeah, he lives behind a 7-Eleven now.
Yeah.
So listeners, please, in the comments, anywhere, email, I don't care. Just if you have a story of someone spending more than 145K and missing their target, send that in, because it is depressing me. I think I set a record because I can't find.
All right, upcoming events real quick. There's Selphie coming the day after Christmas. Ashe
Selphie coming out?
Next Wednesday.
But you don't have any gems for her, so.
Coming out the day after Christmas.
Yep. Ashe Lust chapter on the 30th. New Year Incursion on the 31st. Do we know what that's going to be about, or?
I don't think so.
No, we don't. Gilgamesh on January 6th. The Awakening Part 4 on January 9th. Realm, maybe, on January 16th. And Lost Chapters for Cater, Aerith, and Lion somewhere down the queue for probably end of January, beginning of February. These are your upcoming events. No news of Cait Sith as we mentioned in the past, so don't don't think too much about him in your upcoming strategy because that's not going to happen. Any parting words before we wrap this one up, boys?
Hashtag selfie.
Yeah, I can't wait for. Oh, sorry. Oh, right. We need to announce Pierre is probably not going to. Pierre's not joining us next week.
I was going to say that.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Pierre. I took your thunder. Here, say it right now.
No. I mean, I hadn't forgotten. Basically, hopefully there will be a show next week, next Thursday. However, I will not be able to participate because of family reunion where, as I said to the guys, there'll be like 3,000 kids there, and there's no way I'll be able to record.
Locked in a cabin with 3,000 children.
So, but yeah, basically, just there's probably going to be a show. We'll keep you guys updated on social media and everything. So.
Yeah, hopefully, even without Pierre, Mark and I can do a show at the same day and time because, Mark is so excited about FF8 and Selphie. We can't skip that. We got to see his polls and we got to talk about it. So,
All right.
Yeah, so the question is, could I wait till the show to do all the polls live?
There's no way that's going to happen.
That's okay.
I don't believe that 1 second.
It's not going to happen. I'll save them all, though.
There we go. All right. So, again, that was episode 34 of the Crystal Chronicles. Thank you for everybody that was with us on Twitch. We had a lot of people, a lot of good involvement. If you have any question, comment, feedback, whatever, you can leave them on YouTube. If that's where you're watching this, you can email it to us at kupo@tccpodcast.com, or you can reach us on Facebook, Twitter. All the links are at tccpodcast.com. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mino. Thank you, everyone. Have a good week. And, well, as I will not see you next week, these fine gentlemen surely will. So, in between them, have a good Christmas. Have a good whatever you celebrate. Have a good nothing if you don't celebrate anything, whatever's your fancy. And we'll see you next week and the week after that and the weeks after that. So, have a good one.
Thanks, everybody.